If there's a sports card you need.
Happy Father's Day weekend, a huge weekend for collectors from all of us here at the True Sports Card Show. I say all of us, there's just three of us. I'm Whitey Gleason. Chris Verlaud drew the short straw today, so he's keeping us on air. Good to have you with us, Chris. And, of course, we have Mr. True Sports Cards himself, a guy who keeps a 1987 Mookie Wilson on his person at all times, even in the shower. I don't want to know how. Imran Pilad.
Hey.
What's up, Imran? How are you?
So that was uncomfortable. Let's just say I shower with shorts on or something.
Okay, that's fine.
Mookie Wilson,
Don't need to know anymore.
He was with the Mets in 86, obviously, so 87. He is looking away in the distance on his card. I'm telling you. Well, especially if you're in the shower with me. But on that card itself, it's so funny just growing up in the 80s and early 90s as a kid, remembering all the different cards. And
right.
I remember poses of the players on the cards.
Barry Bonds, 1987.
He's in a full swing.
Falling through, huh?
Falling through, with a yellow Pittsburgh hat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not black.
Right.
It's yellow.
Mm-hmm.
What else you want to keep testing me?
Well, I know that is your go-to set. It's a very sentimental set for you.
Go-to set, that's me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to be here. Are you going to enjoy your final show before your vacation?
Sure. Yeah. I'm excited about vacation, Kauai, but I'm more excited about today because we're going to talk to Mike Giuseppe from the Ringer Sports Card Nonsense, and I know we got a lot of things to get to. And you have another one of your giveaways. Emran's got this getaway fever on the show.
I'm just like, please take everything that I own. For those of you that listen on a regular basis, I have no clue how many listeners we have. I like to say we have both of them. I know Beckett, my son, listens in because mom forces him to. And then we definitely have Peg Junk. Peg Junk is another one. So guaranteed those two minimum.
Yeah.
Your wife will listen?
I don't. Sometimes I think.
I don't think she's
busy today.
I'm busy.
I wouldn't count on her listenership today.
I'm busy every Saturday from 10 to 11. So I want to bribe you, listener, to find out if you are a listener. So here's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Last week we gave a free Tyler Soderstrom autograph. Again, Tyler will be in our shop. The A's star will be in our shop a week from today at this time.
That's tremendous.
You'll be on vacation. I'll be working in our shop. That means that we'll probably have to have a recorded show, which I hate doing. But sometimes they have to happen because you guys were out in the field last week or this past week, and you know how attaching things can be it's very difficult from the field at times. So last thing we want is dead air on a Saturday next morning.
By the way, I was accosted. I didn't mean to trip you up here, but I was accosted by a former USFL kicker while we were on the air.
Did that player ever make it to the NFL?
I don't know if he made it to the NFL, but Jay and I were talking. We're getting ready for Kyle Draper to come on. And the players from the tournament in Rancho Murrieta were just coming into the ballroom. And this guy makes a beeline for me. And I'm on the air, literally on the air. And he goes, "Who's the last straight-on kicker in the USFL?" And I don't even know what he said. You know, I'm looking at him like, "Oh, yeah?" And he said his name was Gary Sauer or something. He goes, "Gary Sauer, Google it." Then he walks off. And like, he was angry, and I don't even know what happened. So those are the types of things that happen when you're on live.
Those of you looking for a Gary Sauer card. No, I don't have that.
Good for him. That's great. But
why are you so angry, bro?
Right.
Chill. Okay, you didn't make the NFL. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're a trivia question. It's okay. So I want to bribe you by giving away yet another Tyler Soderstrom autograph ticket for next Saturday.
Wow.
And you can go to truesportscards.com. So here's how I'm going to bribe you, listener. Go to truesportscards.com, and I want you to type in the search bar, free radio pack. A free radio pack.
Since you started talking about this, viewership on YouTube's gone up almost 33%. Seriously, it has.
Amazing. And when you look up free radio pack, you'll see a pack of 2023 Topps Hobby. Just go ahead and fill out the information, and it's completely free. I'll ship you this pack for free. It's just saying a little thank you.
Is everybody eligible to do that?
One per customer. You'll put in 100 if you want. I'm still only going to send you one per listener.
In theory, if Christopher Laud wanted to do that, could he do that?
He could, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And do you have any other relatives? Now you got to call your wife. Can you please listen? Now, out of those people that get that free pack,
Mm-hmm.
I'll randomly choose a Tyler Soderstrom winner.
But you're
Out of
saying
that-
everyone gets the pack. Yeah.
You get a pack,
Right.
and you get a pack. as
Yes.
Oprah would say, and you get a pack.
Uh-huh.
So go on there. My phone should start buzzing here with all of these orders that will be coming in. Hopefully, look, there we go.
Got to go to the website.
Yeah, we got to go to the website. There, but there's a pack topper that sits on the top.
Yes.
It's an additional pack. A lot of times I'll load them up with like hobby box exclusive mojos and autographs in there too, in addition to what you're already guaranteed in the other format.
Whitey says it's a good deal.
Hey, it's a Whitey deal. These voices are terrible. 2025 Contenders Football, a paper product.
I love Contenders, and I love them more than I should. I love especially basketball. They're like little tickets, right? That's what
Yes,
they
that's
look
correct.
like.
They look like rookie
Yes.
tickets or playoff tickets. And
Yes.
they have different themes. Often cards are on card. autographs.
Yes,
which
this
is
is
important.
another bargain product. I
We
mean,
have it
good
on our-
value is what I mean.
Yeah, we have it on our shelf for $279. It's 5 autographs.
Come on,
per
five?
Five autographs per
That's
box.
a ton of autographs.
So if you think about it, the roster is big. It's missing our tops exclusive guys, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, etc. But you still got McCarthy, who is really poised to be the man this year without a solid backup behind him in
Mhm.
Minnesota.
Mhm.
So they're not going to be calling for somebody behind him. They're going to work through him. He's going to have this entire year to himself, barring injury, to really make his mark. And then you still have Penix, who they're still working out Cousins to figure out where to ship him off to.
Mhm.
So again, whenever you're going to invest in a player, if you have somebody that doesn't have that backup behind them that's going to be pushing, it's a more solid investment than a guy that's got some
Right.
challenge.
There's opportunity there.
For sure.
The odds are in your favor.
Like, who knows where Kenny Pickett's going to be? I'm not saying he's equivalent, but I'm thinking to myself, this is a guy that could be the starter, or he could be traded
Mm-hmm.
based on that quarterback room,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So
Can I ask you a football question in the middle of
Let's-
this football card
let's do
stuff? Aaron Rodgers, Steelers. It's official now. What do you think?
it has not made a bump,
Hmm.
at least not in card prices.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're not quite sure with that,
Mm-hmm.
but
Gotcha.
it's what it is.
Yeah.
So contenders football, we've got 5 autographs in that. And then finally for this week, we had 24-25 Topps Chrome basketball. Steph Curry's on the front cover, 2 autographs per hobby box, and it's under $200.
Another bargain.
It's-
and I say that, I mean value.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, 175 is nothing to sniff at, but at the same time, in comparison, I think Topps Chrome last year opened right around $400. It got all the way up to $500. It's now settled in at about $350
A lot of that was the Wemby factor, right?
for sure. But I think people are allergic to non-licensed product, and we're so close to getting licensed product that some people are just like, oh, I'll just wait.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'll just wait. The class isn't super strong. Stephon Castle was the rookie of the year, who is a solid rookie, but not a typical
Yeah.
Banchero
Yeah.
or, somebody that's going to score that
We'll
20,
see.
23.
Yeah. That's
Maybe.
the way it looks now. But
Ricochet was the number 1 pick. He was mid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of that. Reed Shepard, who was the number 3 pick, barely played for the Rockets. So you have a lot of mystery on this class. So you're kind of sitting back and going, I don't know.
You could
But
have a lot of late bloomers.
with the licensing happening in October and
Mhm.
Cooper Flag coming out, a lot of people are just like, I'll just wait.
Christopher Lott is a big Devin Carter guy.
I don't blame him. I like Devin. Is he our starting point guard? I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. You
Probably
guys have
not.
been talking about it all week.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we've been talking about point guard,
Oh
point guard.
my
point
goodness.
guard.
Are we getting
Yeah.
Trae Young?
No, doesn't appear so. Not going to happen.
Well, what would we have to give up? Chris knows. We'd
Chris
have to.
knows?
Yeah, he's probably done all the math.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah.
It's
He's
gonna
right.
be like DeRozan, Carter, Moore.
It
Because
looks
Trey's like
like
45 million or 50 million.
it looks like perhaps Atlanta came to the Kings like, hey, how about this? And the Kings looked at it and said no. And then it came out, the Kings are talking to the Hawks. But I think it was more a matter of, hey, you want to take Trae Young? Scott
You
Pierce,
want
like,
him? Yeah, you want him? It's yours.
No, thanks.
You don't. Why do you not want him on the team?
I think he's one of, if not the most overrated player in the NBA. Because he doesn't guard people and he doesn't shoot very well. So
28 and 10 a game. 24 and 10 a game. He's actually dipped on his scoring a little bit.
yeah, because he doesn't shoot well. And he gives up a lot.
Yeah, but you could be a Hall of Famer. Allen Iverson.
Yeah, but I don't care if you're in the Hall of Fame or not. I need you to help me win. I
Then-
need you to help me win.
Then let's just get Chris Paul, call it a day.
Uh-huh.
We'll sign him for $10 million. He'll be our bridge for a year.
I think they are going to get a bridge point guard, and I think they're also going to try, and they're working to try to move up into the draft. I think they're doing those two things.
I know it's weird that they're doing draft conversations when they don't have a draft pick in the first round.
Yeah. There's
Something's gonna
reports that
happen.
They're very confident they're going to move up at least into the early 20s. We'll see. It's a season of disinformation.
There we go. All right, so we've got those 3 products. We also have a question Peg Junk asks in the YouTube chateau.
Attaboy.
What is the deal with SGC and the shop? All right, so if you've followed us on Instagram, which I suggest that you do at True Sports Cards on Instagram, I mentioned that we are no longer, starting on June 18th, being submitters for SGC grading. Did you see that post?
You told me.
Okay.
about it, yes, and I
that.
did see
All
the
right.
post. Yes.
So I recently got a phone call. It was actually Tuesday. I called my SGC rep, great guy by the name of Logan.
He's okay.
And I said, yeah, you don't find him helpful. I find him extremely helpful. I said, Logan, I've got an issue with X, Y, and Z on a grading. I actually had a question about oversized cards. What was the charge if it was oversized? And he goes, I'm glad you called me, Emmer, and we have to have a conversation. And I was like, being called into the principal's office.
Mm-hmm.
Well, come to find out that SGC across the board has made the decision for every single bulk submitter like myself that they are no longer allowing bulk submissions, meaning that our small reduction in fee versus what would be to the public has now been eliminated. So I get charged the same amount as I would to a regular customer sending it in directly at SGC. Well, that's a position that puts me into where I have to charge obviously more than that in order for us to have it be a good business decision. So instead of charging 20 and 16 in bulk, now I have to charge like 20 all the time for every single card, no matter how much you send me. And at that point, it just doesn't make sense for you as the customer to just not do it yourself. You know, we're paying the same amount.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, it's like a 9-to-1 send to PSA versus send to SGC in my shop. For every 9 cards to PSA, I get 1 to SGC. And at that point, it's too much for me to consider that without that little wholesale discount on our part.
Mm-hmm.
So we made the tough decision, and I think a lot of companies are doing it, sports card shops, to stop sending to SGC and telling our customers, if you love them, go ahead and send them yourself. We as a company, if I get graded, if I get vintage that I want to get graded, I'm still going to send to SGC. I'm going to pay the full rack rate like everybody else, but it's just not one that we're going to do for our customers. So it's a sad day, but if you have any interest in sending in your SGC cards, you have until June 18th to bring it in. That is our last group submission on behalf of SGC through True Sports Cards.
May I ask you at this time about big news in the hobby that I think could have an impact on everybody who collects, at least in a small way. And I know we're going to talk to Mike Giuseppe about this as well. I want to ask you about, Emran, the news that, and I found out from you, GameStop is buying PSA, Professional Sports Authenticator. What is going on here?
Okay, so Mike might be able to talk about that because he talked about it on his Sports Card Nonsense.
Yeah.
But first of all, I did not know GameStop had a market valuation higher than PSA.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that's true.
Yeah.
The market valuation on GameStop, I guess, is close to 10 billion with a B. And as PSA's market value is around 3 billion with a B. So it's 3 times the size of value. It's shocking to me.
It looks like GameStop is veering and leaning even more and more heavily into collectibles and away from games.
Well, why would they? If you think about this, I can sit in my pajamas on my PS5, which I do at times. And if I want to buy NBA 2K, I'm not getting dressed and heading to the mall. I just go online and
You're going to the mall in your pajamas?
no,
you're not going to the mall at
not
all.
anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, not anymore. I just think of you and your nightcap and all that stuff when you go to bed at 6:30 at night. I called you last night at 9. 2 nights ago. Called you at 9. You answered 9 p.m.
Yes.
You're old. I don't know what time you go to bed. Like I expect.
Then why do you assume I go to bed at 6:45?
When the street lights come on, gotta go to bed, honey. Street lights are on.
Yeah,
I got
6:30 is too early now.
My show starts at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Bye.
It's not dark until much later.
So then I go to bed even later.
Chris knows when you work mornings.
Oh, Chris gets up way too early.
Yeah, I used to go to bed really early. What time do you go to bed, Chris, if I may ask? To get up
I'm bad, about 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, see, he's strong. I could never do that.
And up by when?
4 a.m.
Jeez.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
I went to bed.
I
at
put a
4
nap in between.
You put a nap in between. Usually during the Carmichael Dave
Yeah,
show.
when Dave's talking, Chris is like, all right.
He was like this. Okay, here he goes. First 20 minutes without a break of talking.
But anyway.
I would just say that I lost my train of thought. Where were we?
We were talking
GameStop.
about.
I could download
GameStop.
I could download the game from my house.
Mm-hmm.
So the usefulness of GameStop to go and purchase a disc to put into my PS5 unnecessary. So they have to pivot somewhere, and they have a bunch of trinkets, and some people like to come in there and buy some stuff, like it's Spencer's Gifts or something. But when they started this grading thing with PSA,
Right. I know
this
we talked
grading
about
submission
that.
center, it's caused a glitch in the system for PSA. You have all this Pokemon and non-sport and Yu-Gi-Oh and One Piece and all this stuff all being submitted through GameStop to PSA. It's created this help
Mm-hmm.
an influx of over 600 to 700,000 cards more a month since the GameStop relationship happened in the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's only growing. And one of the big fears is that we've got GameStop that's going to come in and try to replace our LCSs, our local card shops. I don't think that's going to happen. And we have a bunch of information in the chateau right now for YouTube that's there. So you're looking at the options here for grading, and they also offer to buy cards too. There's like an algorithm that they have. They'll only buy cards that are between PSA 8 and PSA 10. They won't buy anything lower. And then it's just basically this is what we think the value is. This is a percentage we're going to give you down to the penny.
You touched on what to me, Emran, is the most interesting thing about all this is that it looks like, obviously, if this is the plan, GameStop is not going to come out and say it, but it looks like perhaps their plan is to, in some ways at least, if not completely, replace your local card shops.
I could never imagine that happening based on the employees and personnel with it. I'm in the shop almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Almost every day. And my team is really well versed in understanding both grading and card fluctuations and ups and downs, and the players, like, we live and die by that. That's what we do. I don't expect, and maybe I'm wrong, a GameStop employee to have the same kind of knowledge and passion about sports cards as we do. And it's not their fault. They're just a kid or a person that wants to work in a job that they clock in and clock out. And sure, I'll take in the cards or I won't. It doesn't matter to me. And I just feel like the passion of the hobby enthusiast will not be matched at a GameStop, no matter what they do, no matter how automated their system is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take the heart out of the collecting hobby and expect somebody that works there to be the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do think that's probably part of their plan, is to at least partially.
I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's a revenue stream that's really important to them.
Mm-hmm.
If they're in there and they're getting a far greater discount than I would as a card shop because of their sheer volume that's going to come through there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a message again in the chateau, and we're talking to a lot of people virtually here. Didn't collectors, who's the owners of PSA, buy SGC? The answer is yes. So when I talked to my rep at SGC, one of the conversations we have was, well, what happens to you? And he says, well, I really don't know. So if his job was to be a relationship manager between him, SGC, and the group submission companies like me, and we don't have that relationship anymore, I don't know what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But my guess is that they're going to send him down the hall and he's going to work for PSA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because PSA clearly needs the assistance. That's why they're so far behind. And SGC was normally 10 business days. I'd send it, they'd receive it, and 2.5 weeks later, it's out the door. Doesn't even live that way anymore. It's like 5.5 weeks.
How much do I have to pay, Emran, if I want it quickly? I want a quick turnaround time. Price be darned.
It starts around $90 per card.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get you right around that 20-day business day mark. But 20 business days right now is really like a month and a half.
Yeah.
I'll give you a little inside secret here.
Behind the scenes with Emran Palai.
Here we go. Breaking news. We're doing it here on Sacktown Sports 1140 rather than anywhere else. But I've hired an employee down in Southern California that I ship our cards to, who then every Thursday will walk in the cards into PSA, avoiding that mail room, which sometimes the cards will sit there for a month or more before the box is even opened. So as an example, we go down there, we have our guy walk in with your cards.
That come with benefits? That's a pretty easy gig.
Pretty
Every
good gig,
Thursday,
right?
walk over to.
Yeah, he drives about 30 minutes, but it's well worth it. Your cards are sent to Southern California overnight to him. He literally has the package less than 12 hours. He gets the package. He drives it to PSA. He walks in the lobby. They open the box. They check in everything, and away we go.
Mhm.
So our clock starts a lot faster than anybody else. And we're now submitting every week. That's how many cards we're getting. I just undid an order that came back yesterday, 210 cards.
Wow.
I made all my phone calls this morning to say, come pick up your cards this
Yeah, I
morning
actually overheard you making one.
before we even got on the radio. So
Mhm.
that just goes to show how we're taking at True Sports Cards this very seriously when it comes to the grading, because a lot of these people are waiting, like they need their cards back as soon as possible. And the best way I could shortcut it is to avoid that mail room that everything sits in for 30 to 45 days before they even open the box and then start your clock.
Mhm.
So if I could avoid that, that's what we're doing. That's why you should grade with True Sports Cards. We do single cards at 30, but then we start our discounts at $25 for a 5 or more cards, 25 per card.
If there are so many people sending their cards in to be graded, is there an opportunity there for someone to start another new grading service, perhaps? Or how difficult is that?
Difficult because people are stubborn. If you think about this, and Rick is in the YouTube chat talking a lot about Beckett, and trust me, Rick, with my son's name being Beckett, me loving the Beckett monthly growing up, I would love Beckett to be back on top, which I believe they were at one time. Let's go through the details of this. And I want to also talk before Mike goes on, if he's on time with us, just to talk a little bit about what I did with PSA this past week with the Jordan rookie. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll
I'm
fly
also
down
hoping
there.
if we have time, you can tell us about the sports card slot machine that you.
Oh,
encountered.
goodness. Yeah, in Vegas.
Yeah.
All right. So quickly, in regards to the 3 top grading companies, it's PSA by far,
Mhm.
way out in front. SGC behind that. CGC or CGS. Sometimes they change their names around. It's I promise you, it's weird. They've now snuck into 3rd place, and Beckett is a distant
Distant.
4th.
Hmm.
Beckett had about 70,000 cards graded last month. PSA had 1.7 million last month. I mean,
And PSA is considered better because your card, a 10 from PSA,
Like,
is worth more
value-wise,
than a
it's the
10 from the
king.
other. Yeah.
value-wise, it's the king, but Beckett has the ultimate grading scale. They have pristine, which is 10, that's above Gem Mint, and they have black label pristine. All 4 subcategories are 10. It's as high as you can get. So they have by far the superior grading scale, but because of service, but because of lack of transparency, because of lack of communication, like they suck. Beckett sucks. And I wish that they were better, but you know, being good is a choice,
Mhm.
right? And
I wouldn't know.
well, I don't know because I'm great. We had a really bad Jessica's birthday. My wife's birthday was Tuesday, and we go to a restaurant and we go there all the time, and we really enjoy it. But on her birthday, which was Tuesday, it was the worst service, so bad that our server was crying, the kitchen was a mess. My wife, we had 10 people there. She didn't even get her food. We ordered an hour and a half. She didn't get her food. We were just like, forget it. We're out of here. And the manager came to apologize. He said, I'm going to go ahead and take the price off of the stuff you didn't get. I'm like, yeah, no, duh. And then here's some gift cards. He bought 1 margarita free for us. We had a table full of people.
Yeah.
1 margarita free, and he gave us some gift cards for next time for $40. Okay, we had a table. I still paid $200 something for the people in the table. That's not enough to fix it. What I'm getting at is when you mess up, the job is for you to not only make me whole, but make me so overwhelmingly feel like I was taken care of that I'm willing to come back and try this again.
Right.
And Beckett has done nothing to do that. They are very good at having a ton of excuses as to why they're on their service. They have a field rep out there. I've talked to this guy 30 times. He sucks. He never returns my phone call. That's not the kind of relationship I feel comfortable giving my customers cards to, and then me not even getting a call back. At least with PSA, I have my own manager who I text him. He calls me. We talk. We talk every few days. If I have a question, he gets back to me. That's important when you're working with a company. So PSA has that. SGC has that. And I haven't worked with CGC, but I'm
It's
going
stunning.
to.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but that's really important. If you're a customer and you're
Sure.
going, hey, can I find out what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you, I did do something new as well. You're going to see it in the next couple of weeks, customers. If you go to truesportscards.com and you look at other services, I added a new feature called Slab Tracker. And now what we're going to do is moving forward, every time you give a submission with us, I'm going to give you your submission number and you can go to the website and check where it's at in the process instead of having to call me or the staff or anybody else.
I got to
It's
tell
really
you,
cool.
It sounds like something you'd say about someone in a non-flattering way. That guy's a slab tracker, doesn't it?
Slob Tracker.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
where's Emran today?
But I like
Yeah.
it. Slab
We're
tracker.
trying our best. So we
Is that
will.
an exclusive True Sports Cards feature?
Uh,
Home of the slab tracker.
no, it's a system
Oh,
that you can pay for. So
okay.
if your local card shop's not doing it, you got to wonder what else are they skimming on. I'm putting the money in there to make sure that we're making it transparent for our customers to be able to check on their own and be able to do that. So can I, while you talk, can I just read these YouTube chats? I
Yes,
just want to see what's
of
in here,
course.
but I can't do it because then it'll be dead silence unless.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. And
Fine.
I have my glasses, which I don't have any, but I need. So I'm going to quickly squint down here.
Yes. Well, I'm hoping that at some point here, as we await Mike Giuseppe from the Ringer Sports Card Nonsense pod, which is the #1 pod in sports cards podcasting, I'm hoping Emran will share with us the experience that he had in Las Vegas. We had talked about a year ago about how at some places in Vegas there are slot machines where you get a graded card. And I know initially there were some issues with this legally because it was presented as speaking of PSA, it's a PSA machine. And PSA said, look, we have nothing to do with that other than the fact that they are using our cards that we graded. So now you can, I don't even know how much it is, what the odds are. It doesn't sound like a real percentage play, but apparently they're still there a year later. So they must be attracting customers. And Emran was he one of them? I know he saw it, but I don't know if you actually put money in and played.
No,
You did not. Good
no,
for you.
it's not a slot machine. You're guaranteed whatever you're buying. The only non-guarantee is what you're getting.
Right.
So there was one that was like a Pokemon one, and it looked very. The language on the outside of the machine was very Chat GPT to me. Like,
Oh, really?
oh God, I read it. I was like, that's not even proper English.
Yeah.
It's like,
When you say it's not a slot machine, and that's the term I use, you mean you're going to win something. You never put money
I
in
don't
and
know if you win.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna get something.
All right.
It's like a gumball machine. Put
Uh-huh.
the money in the top, and the gumball comes out. You don't know what flavor it's going to be.
Right.
Very similar to that.
Okay.
So it's one of those. Yeah. So it was $48, and it had like
What?
it was $48 for one card.
Did they tell you
in
what
the-
you could win?
In the Pokemon machine. No. It's just you're getting one graded perfect 10 is what it said. It didn't even say PSA 10. It said perfect 10
I think
graded
PSA
card.
said, no.
I don't know if it even had PSA cards. I have no clue, but I wasn't going to spend $48 to find out. I guess I should have. It would have been decent content, but I don't know. I really hate buying mystery packs, even though True Sports Cards builds our own. We have mystery boxes for jerseys or helmets or graded cards, but I know it goes in there, so I'm not worried about it. Right? I'm worried about you, dude, who doesn't have proper English on the exterior of your
Yeah.
of your
Do
machine.
you remember when we first talked about this, that it was PSA was all over the machine when they started? And then I think PSA went in and said, you can't do that. We have nothing to do with this. I think
Yes.
initially that's how
Yeah,
they
they-
marketed it initially.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were like, nope. We do
Yeah,
not
right.
want our name on the
Yeah.
exterior of this because
Yeah.
we don't want to be affiliated with if the product's really bad.
Right. Which
Look,
sounds like you seem to think it is.
Where is the profit? Okay, so let's think about this. If the card is $50 for you to get, and they're installing a machine that's taking, 20 square feet in the middle of a casino in Las Vegas, and they need to make a profit,
Uh-huh.
what are the chances that that card is going to be a good one? Probably not, especially when it's quote unquote perfect 10. Not even PSA 10, not even SGC 10, not even Beckett 9.5. It just says perfect 10. Could be any Tom, Dick, or Harry company.
Yeah.
You originally said to me, what would it take for somebody to come in and, maybe make a shake into the industry? We've seen that during the pandemic. HGA, FCG, GMA. These are all 3-letter companies that tried to make it happen. HGA had a chance. They really did.
HGA, the
Yeah.
Home and Garden.
The Home and Garden Association. Yes. HGA had a chance. And they fumbled the bag. The reason why they had a chance was they had these custom slabs. So not only were they grading it, but let's say that you had your favorite San Diego Padres player and you
Okay.
wanted the card, the label to be brown and gold.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
So they would have the Tony Gwynn 1983 Topps card graded HGA 8.
What's Tony doing on that card?
He is running to first base.
Yeah, because
He's
hit the
running to
ball.
first
Yeah,
base.
yes,
You see
you're
his
right,
back
yes.
and maybe the side of
Yes,
him.
you're correct.
Yeah, duh. And they would customize that label to be of the colors of your choice.
Huh.
And that was really neat. People loved that. And
They
it had
did.
it had the 4 quarters of corners and surface similar to Beckett. And not only that, but they said we're only taking a certain amount of cards per day in order to make sure that our time frames are going out at the right time. So they were taking in like 4,000 cards a day. And that's it. So you'd wait till the next morning, you'd put yourself in the queue, you'd say, I want to grade 10 cards. And once they hit 4,000 of that day, they stopped taking cards. So that way they knew that their machines that they had would handle the amount of people that were sending in the cards for
So
it.
what went wrong?
They started to, their grading, how about this? Their graders were messing up. When you have cards that aren't described correctly or misspelled, when you spell Tony Gwynn Gwinn,
Mm.
that's the kind of stuff that makes people go, I don't trust this.
Right. This is substandard.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And so when you look at stuff like that, it's just, you fumbled the bag. And then they started going longer in times. They eliminated the whole, we're eliminating per day because they were looking at revenue and saying, well, wait a minute, I've got a waiting list of another 4,000 behind this. Let's just take it and we'll figure it out.
I don't know if this is a show you'd want to do because I know that, you encourage people to get things graded, and we know that that's awesome when you get a good grade and you make money, but grading horror stories would be an interesting segment sometime.
Yeah.
I know we have a couple people already today weighing in with some, and you hear things about how the system can go wrong, which I know is inevitable when you consider just the sheer numbers, but some of it's a little scary.
Well, I know that when people have superstitions. If I send in 20 cards, they're looking at it more revenue, so they're going to give me more 10s, right?
Uh-huh.
Nah, they kind of look and see if the card's bent or not. They kind of look to see if the card has scratches or not. They kind of do that because I could promise you in the dungeon where the graders are, they are not sitting there and going, before I grade this card, how many did they send? Did they hit the threshold of whether or not I give them 9s or 10s?
Mm-hmm.
Please let me know before I start grading. They are going through so much volume that they're looking at this card probably in detail, maybe 30 seconds,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 15 seconds. And some people go, that's not enough. But I can tell you, I look at cards all day long too. In about 15 seconds, I can tell you if the card's going to grade a 10 or not, a 9 or not. Now, I don't have to go, okay, this is a 7, this is a 10, this is a 4. I don't do that. But I could see a crease. I could see a surface scratch. I could see a printer's line. I could do that in about 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Do
So
you have any idea what the graders earn? I'm just curious. None of my business, but I'm really
I
curious.
could, if I was to guess, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
I could tell you that I've seen some of the graders. Like I know what they look like. I know how they dress.
Uh-huh. So
So
just kidding.
there you go. I know what they look like on a daily basis. I know that, I've seen them, but they are under lock and key in a good way. They're not in a cage or anything, but they certainly are protected from influential, bribery.
Hmm.
They're not known. People don't really know who they are. They're not supposed to disclose that they are. That's what they do within the collector's universe world.
Mhm.
I'm a little thrown off right now that we don't have GSFE on yet. I apologize. Mike, is he? Excuse me, I said Mike. Chris, is he online at all?
We'll get to.
Okay.
We'll take
Okay.
care of it.
It's what
it
it is.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens. If it doesn't happen, I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna just keep talking about cards. The Whitey and Emmer and
We'll
Y.
soldier on.
We'll soldier on. So
Yeah.
we'll get them on as soon as we can. All right. So I
I will
recently.
tell you one time, pardon me, but years ago, Michael Bolton, the singer.
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
I
supposed to
celebrate his entire collection.
make- Good for
Do you know where that's from? What I just said?
I don't.
It's from the movie Office Space.
Oh, okay.
The guy's name is Michael Bolton in the movie. And the lady goes, "Oh my goodness, do you love Michael Bolton since your name is Michael Bolton?" And he goes, and he doesn't. He listens to rap music.
Right.
And he's like this. He goes, "Yeah, I celebrate the entire collection."
Well, I was on a radio station. He was supposed to come in and he was late. He eventually did come in, but he was late. So we just called. We looked up in the phone book at that time in San Francisco, somebody named Michael Bolton. We just had that person on and asked him about songs and stuff. They had no idea. So,
if we can find a Mike Giuseppe somewhere here in Sacramento, we'll give you a call.
Right.
We won't even go long distance. We'll just go like, who's in the 916 named Mike Giuseppe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good. Was it a good conversation with Michael Bolton?
I don't remember. I just remember it must have been funny because I remember it was, oh, yeah. I just don't remember what happened.
Memorable.
Yeah.
But I bet you he tells the story all the time. I got a phone call from a radio station. And they were looking for Michael Bolton, and
I
they
think
looked me
Michael
up.
Bolton thought it was really funny. He really thought that was a good idea.
Did you ever talk to him, Michael Bolton?
He came in eventually.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
What was his reasoning for not being there?
I don't remember. I think he was doing a series of interviews or something.
When you are on the radio for 9 decades the way you've been, I don't expect you to remember everything, but I would expect you to remember Michael Bolton.
I remember him. I didn't talk to him. At the time, I wasn't the host of the show. I did sports and producing and things.
Hey, Whitey Gleason here on your sports break. Let me give you the scores of today. Is that what you did?
Yeah, exactly that. That's exactly it. Yes. Let me give you the scores of today. That was what the feature was called. It's Whitey's Scores of Today.
Oh, my God. Oh, so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. Okay. So while we're waiting for him who may not show up.
And it's fine if he doesn't.
If he doesn't, it just hurts my heart.
I know, but it's okay.
I'm trying to fanboy him. I'm like, Mike.
He'll come on.
Mike, I listen to you every week, Mike. Twice a week.
Mm-hmm. They do twice a week, huh?
While I'm in the shower looking at my Mookie Wilson card.
Okay.
For those of you that joined us, don't even ask. All right. That just joined us late because we talked about it early. I had a guy walk in with an entire 1985 Star set basketball.
Those are
one of the great sets of all time for basketball. You're a vintage collector. That's right on the brink of vintage versus modern.
Right.
What do you know of that Star set? I
know that there was a period where Topps just stopped producing basketball cards, and then I don't think Fleer had picked it up yet, which they did in '86. So you had this period where this Star company came in and made some sets. And I know I was at a game once, a Warrior game, and I needed some change to take Bart home or whatever. And I had an option. I could have bought the Star. It was 85 or 86 they had at the arena, or a Seattle Sonics keychain. And unfortunately, I went with the keychain, and I would have made a lot of money if I'd bought that. But there was just this company that hadn't done anything else that I know of when it comes to producing sports cards. They filled this void. And so for those 2 years, I believe it is, those sets are really valuable. Maybe there's a couple
longer. Well, let's see. The last top set was 81 before they went dark. And then so 82, 83, 84, 85. So like what they did was they gathered all the rookies during that time and jumbled them into one set. And each set was done with a team bag. So you had Jordan and I'm trying to think who was on that team. I think Gervin was in that bag. So you had like 6 or 8 or 10 guys in each bag by team. Akeem with no H was on the Rockets. I think he had Ralph Sampson on that team. And you go to Ewing, had like Trent Tucker and some other people in that one.
Yeah, those great Boston and Laker teams.
Right. Bird, McHale, Parrish, all that was in those bags. So they were sold as a set with bags. And a guy walks in, a great older collector came in and he says, I got these in 88 from a guy. I bought the entire set and I was interested if you had interest in buying them. And the first thing you do is you go look for the Jordan because it's a holy grail. Most recently, a PSA 7.5 sold for $93,000 in April.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. And you said 85, right?
85 Star. It's the one where he's like grabbing a rebound. It's a straight on shot from like the other side of the court. And so I look and sure enough, there's the bag. Now these are highly counterfeited. So they're created and they're put in these little bags and vacuum sealed and whatever, but he had all of them. And the bags were kind of like cloudy, meaning that they've had some wear to them.
They've oxidized.
Based on my experience, they looked pretty good, pretty realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, what do you want to do with it? And he goes, well, I'd like to sell it. And I said, how much? And then he said a price. And I said, I can never say yes to that without getting him graded. He goes, well, then let's get him graded. And I said, that means that we have to cut the bags open. And he goes, well, let's cut the bags open. And I was like, whoa, all right. So he came in on a Saturday. I booked my flight for the next week, which I just came back from Southern California PSA. I took all of the cards with me, every single set with me, all the team bags, and I laid them out in front of the PSA reps. And I was in PSA's headquarters, and I said, here's everything. I'm showing you that literally the guy has the entire set, not just some random bag. This should help in the grand scheme of, is this real or counterfeit? Yeah, I'm authenticating by showing you I have the entire set here. And on camera, in recording, I nervously cut the bags open.
Does that devalue them at all?
Yes, if they're real and not graded. No, if they're fake. But the only way to know if they're fake or not is to open the bag.
Wow.
So it's like, do I break this seal or not?
What a dilemma, yeah.
Yes, but not only that, I wrote a very detailed, and the guy is in the legal field. Let's just say that. Mm-hmm. So he knows. And I go, I, Emran Pilati, have permission to open your bag, this, that, whatever. I said it on camera. I wrote all that. We both docu-signed it. So I had full permission to open the bags. I did it right at the PSA headquarters. I did it on camera. I did it in front of the PSA reps, and then went straight into a top loader, a grading card holder, and right to PSA, right there. And unfortunately, we're getting 2 cards graded. One is the PSA, the Jordan, what they call extended rookie or XRC.
Yeah.
And then the Olympic version of it same year. When I flipped him over to look at him, the Olympic Jordan's kind of miscut on the back a little bit. So it's definitely not going to be a 10. Neither card's going to be a 10. But again, if this gets a 7.5, we have a comp at $93,000.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this might be an 8. I guessed an 8 on the last one I flew down there. I was correct. Based on what I see, I think this is an 8. This is an 8. We're talking about $120,000 card. And the guy bought the entire set back in 88 for, let's just say, a fraction of that.
Right.
So if that comes back, hallelujah for him. Number 2, ouch for my pocketbook. I may have to sell some plasma or, do something. But that's an incredible card, and I'm so proud that we're able to be the ones to represent and bring it down.
Pilati plasma, though, that's good plasma.
I'll tell you see my kid. I don't know if you make kids with plasma or not, but I was only a very short time participant in the making of Baby Beckett. But I would just say that, like, for me, you all right?
Yeah.
You gonna make it?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. It's 10:48. It's gonna be me and you to the end of the show.
That's fine. We're okay. We're fine. These things happen.
Who was the last guest that you had that didn't make it on Drive Guys?
I don't recall. It's been a while, but it happens often.
It doesn't happen to me. I don't know.
It happens often, and it's part of the game. And we'll figure it out. We'll have them on at some point.
Listeners, we'll give you a refund. I apologize. Hopefully you found what we're doing entertaining.
You're already giving away free cards today. You might want to hit that again.
TrueSportsCards.com.
Joining us late.
Yeah, TrueSportsCards.com. Go to the search bar and type in free radio pack. Free radio pack. And you're going to get a free pack from me. I'll be sending that off to you as long as you put your mailing information in there. And then of the people that did free radio pack over the next 24 hours, I will pick one of them to get a free Tyler Soderstrom autograph ticket for next Saturday, which is happening in shop at 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm. That's tremendous. I wanted to tell you, it really is. I'm a big Soderstrom guy, even before he started hitting more home runs this year. I want to tell you about a card that was really interesting that is getting some attention now. I got it with NBA Flux, which came out. I think 2020 was the first year that Flux was its own line, Panini Flux. And in the cards, they had a set called Deja Vu, which was rookies. And then they also on the card had a veteran that they compare the two with, and I had a Halliburton Deja Vu. And it just so happens that the guy they compared him to 2020 in the Flux set was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So it's
he's in the NBA Finals right now.
They both are. That's the cool thing about the card.
I think Halliburton's a king on that one, but still.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And it's his rookie card, but I don't think it says RC. So anyway, I saw that someone was selling it for $50, and it's one of those things you look at, it's like,
Offering it.
Right, true. And I realized I have that card. You know how it is sometimes. Well, I don't know, because you have so many. But for most of us, like you see a picture of a card, I have that card, and I found it. I ended up selling it for like $5, whatever. But people are trying to sell it. As I said, they're offering it for $50, $30. And maybe if I hung on to it a little more in this series, I could get a little more. But it's ridiculous.
If you're not a collector, and let's just say that you have somebody that's like, I love Halliburton, and Auntie hears that, and they go, oh, $50, that seems like a good deal.
Yeah.
There's always somebody that's going to overpay for a card that isn't knowledgeable. How many times have you and I bought something that was way over market because we just didn't know any better, but we wanted that thing? It happens all the time, right?
Yes.
And
this was not numbered. It's not a refractor, but you can get refractors for less than some people are selling just the base card. So it's unfortunate. But it is a cool card.
It's a great card.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we're at 2-2 as far as the series is concerned. Do you have any direction that you feel that the finals are going to finish? I think by the time you get back from your vacation, the finals will be over. So this is your last chance to predict. What's your thoughts on the 2-2 series right now? How does it end?
I just have to tell you, I predicted that they would win back in October, and I got to stick with them. I think the champions are going to be the Boston Celtics.
Again, every year.
I had OKC winning this in 5, and maybe they win in 6. Maybe they don't. Clearly, I've underestimated the Pacers. I know that was a big win for OKC last night, but this is, you don't need me to say it. It's genuinely a series. It's been great, and I hope it goes, at least.
It really seems to
go at least 6. Yeah,
seems to fall on the back of Halliburton. He has a good game, they do well. He has a bad game, they lose. Comes down to that.
I was just really glad to see last night that OKC got back in Indiana's grill a little bit a couple games ago. Who was it? Somebody got taken out. Caruso got taken out, I think, and Jalen Williams just turns the referee with his palms out like, hey, isn't that a foul? And last night when Obi Toppin took him down, Hartenstein at least walked up to him and like, what are you doing? So they just showed a little more gumption.
And Obi was like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, right. That's okay, but at least you got to get in the guy's face like, hey, don't knock my teammate over. We're at least going to let you know we don't like that.
When we think about some of these players that played in these awesome NBA finals, we think of Magic, and we think of Jordan, and we think of Pippen, and we think of even Barkley when they went to the NBA finals, Gary Payton. These guys were late 20s, early 30s, right? Holding it down, lots of pressure. Chet Holmgren was in high school 4 years ago.
I know.
You've got these guys that are just young 22-year-olds in the NBA finals under the biggest spotlight they can be under.
Right.
I go Thunder in 6.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A Thunder in 6?
Yeah.
All right.
And to what you just said, they're so young, payrolls are low, so there's a chance that this might not be the last time we see these two teams in the finals.
We'll see.
Because they can keep these teams together without worrying about the luxury tax and all that.
Chris, do you mind hitting the music? Because I want Whitey's music to serenade us out of here. Sorry that we didn't have Mike Giuseppe on us with us. We'll try to get him on a future show.
Hey,
Not sure what happened. Yeah, he has a little baby. Maybe he had to take care of his baby. I have no clue.
Right.
But we take care of our baby, which is the True Sports Card Show every Saturday. I will be here next week. You will not. Enjoy your vacation. And happy anniversary to you.
Thank you. Happy
40
Father's
years.
Day, and thank you, Chris, for love.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.
With singles, boxes, and more.